Autumn is a time to evaluate what you have and what God has given you. I'm sitting right now outside in our little, how do I say, lighthouse. My mom calls it lighthouse or the heart house because there's a heart on the door, and we always have like candles inside. And we typically sit here during summer and autumn, so summer evenings and in the autumns as well, to just enjoy nature. Despite, let's say, during summer evenings, there might be mosquitoes outside, and during autumn, it might be cold, a little bit colder or chilly outside in the evenings, but we still want to enjoy nature. So, anyways, I'm sitting here right now, and I started reflecting upon autumn and why it is that I really find value in autumn, and I really enjoy autumn for so many reasons. And I thought about what scripture also talks about when it comes to seasons and when it comes to autumn, and what it is that we can learn from this season of autumn. So, the biblical meaning of autumn is closely associated with harvesting crops that God has blessed upon this earth. And that's where the phrase reap what you sow actually then comes in. And I think that this is a term that we kind of use without even thinking of where it actually stems from, which is scripture. And in spiritual terms, we reap the benefits of our faithful labor of prayer, humility, and love. And whether you believe it or not, we all pray, we all love in ways, we all are humble in ways, and we all sort of reap what we sow in these different areas. So, whatever has been on your mind over the past year, it's probably come to fruition in some way, shape, or form now. And I think that autumn is a great time to begin to evaluate, well, how has God shaped me this year? How has God shaped my character this year? How has God orchestrated my journey this year? What is it that I have come to learn this year that I didn't know before? What is it that I have experienced that's different from other years that I can then begin to see the harvest of now in my life, right? So there are going to be different um, sort of things that you've been reaping that are unique to you. So you want to just use this time, and I think that it's really beautiful that nature has orchestrated it this way, that it's a time where it's not as hot. We won't go as much outside. Maybe we will sort of transition maybe to being inside, especially if you live in the northern hemisphere, which I actually start to value this season more and more, and actually every season more and more. I've been used to traveling a lot and is sort of escaping the autumn and the winter for many years. And now I'm coming back to seeing the value in the different seasons and how the seasons outside can reflect what's going on inside and can call us deeper into union with God, can call us deeper into reflect, into seeing what's going on within our lives, etc., etc. So, I wanted to bring up a verse from it's called Ecclesiastes. No, it's not. I have absolutely no idea what this book is called. It's got a very fascinating name to it. But anyhow, I love it. I love this verse so much. It is chapter 3, verse 1 through to 22. So it says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." So, isn't that just so true? It's just so true. And for every day that the Lord really blesses me with experiencing I can see how much of a blessing it is to experience these different seasons. And I can see that there definitely are seasons, yes, to reap and to sow. And there are seasons to so-called kill different projects that you've been going on with, to let go of different relationships or different careers or whatever, even aspects within yourself or characteristics within yourself, to let go of that in order to heal, right? And it talks about this, and it talks about how there's a time to mourn and a time to dance. So, what season are you in right now? Maybe you are in both. Maybe you mourn over something and then you dance over other thing. Do you even take the time to dance, right? But in the society that we live in, I think that most cultures praise dancing and healing and planting more than the other, right? And I think that what scripture can do for us is that it can remind us that no season is better than the other. Every season is orchestrated for a greater purpose. And if we can come to peace with that, we won't force ourselves to such a degree where we only strive to experience some seasons and want to distance ourselves or avoid other seasons. Because what this does is it creates dissonance in a way. So again, autumn is a time to evaluate what you have and what God has given you. What has God given you this past season, or these past seasons since last year? And what has fallen away? What characteristics within yourself have fallen away? What kind of patterns in your life have fallen away? What is it that you no longer resonate with? What is it that is time to let go of? Or what is it that naturally wants to depart from you, depart from your life, depart from your way of living? There are answers there, and God has them for you in the stillness and the silence when you listen. And when you obey, next season you will have such a more fresh soil to restart with and begin with again. So this is a time to evaluate what it is that you would like to let go of for now. This and so much more we cover also within the garden community, which really is a metaphor for, how we treat our lives, and that if we can look at ourselves and our lives as a garden, then we can also begin to see the reflections of the seasons outside as a reflection of what is inside, and that we also grow through seasons. And actually, I designed the Bloom Beyond Perfectionism program also with the intention of reflecting the seasons within ourselves: wilting, falling, rooting, rising, and blooming. And so much of that is also applicable for blooming beyond anything in any area. Um, and so the garden is more so to help you to have the faith, to develop the faith, to cultivate the faith, to cultivate the seeds, to be able to see productive harvest in your life in different areas. And for that, you need faith. And that is what we can cultivate better together than just on our own, right? So that is what the garden is about. But anyhow, you can go to bloombound.com/waitlist to join that. For now, I also just encourage you to reflect. Autumn is a time to evaluate what you have and what God has given you, right? And and have a reflection time on that. Return within and see what comes up for you. Sending you so much love, and I will see you soon.